Back again, this time with the Finish the Book tag. I was tagged by Gareth over at Songs, Books, and Other Magic, but I had actually seen this already on Crystal's channel over at the Fiberazzi. I'll have both of their channels linked in the description, by the way. And I did also, like Gareth, I went back and tried to find out who created this tag, only to discover that either the creator or the video of the original tag no longer existed. So I won't have a link to that for you, but you can watch Crystal's or Gareth's. So prompt number 1 is, do you keep a list of books you have read? So the direct answer to that is no, I don't. However, I do keep a book journal. And in my book journal, as you can see, well, let me get to a page where I can show you. In my book journal, I do write down all the books that I read, and I include information like when I started the book, when I finished the book, when I purchased the book, where I purchased the book, plus all of my notes. So in a sort, I do have a record of my books, but I don't have an actual list. Oops. Let's see, the next prompt is, what stats do you record? I don't record any stats. Now, Goodreads does record some stats for you, and I do keep track of my books there. Like, I always list any new books that I purchased there, and put them on the appropriate shelf. And then I always put when I start a book and when I finish a book, and I keep track of my page numbers. Like, every time I put the book down, I do go back and record my page number. So Goodreads keeps track of some for me, which I do actually like that, but I'm never going to keep track of those on my own. Let's see. And then, do you give star ratings? Yes, I do. I always give a book a star rating unless I DNF it. If I DNF it, I don't really feel like I've read the book and therefore I shouldn't be rating it. There have been a couple exceptions. Sometimes I've either read most of the book or well over half of the book, and didn't feel like it was a redeemable book in any way for my own personal taste anyway. And so I have given a couple of books a star rating without having actually got to the end. Do you review your books? Well, that's a loaded question, according to Shawn D. Standfast. I'm just teasing Shawn. But I don't really consider what I do reviewing books. I never have considered it reviewing because I'm not articulate enough to really throw out a real review. I'm just a regular reader. I'm not an intellectual, I'm not scholarly, I'm not a professional or anything like that. I'm just a regular person reading books and offering my own regular person thoughts on those books. So I think some people do still consider that reviewing, but I don't. The next prompt is, where do you put your finished books? I actually don't have a special place for my finished books. I do not separate the books I've read from the books that I haven't read, because I like to have all my bookshelves sorted by genre. So wherever I took the book from is where it goes back when I'm done. The next prompt is, how do you pick your next book? And I just pick up whatever I'm in the mood for at that particular moment. There are some loose exceptions, and those would be if I'm doing a buddy read. But again, even when I'm doing a buddy read, I still have to be in the mood to read that book. And then also reading events. If I'm going to participate or co-host a reading event, then I'll read books for that event. But once again, it has to be something that I'm pretty sure that I will be able to get into during the event and not sort of stray away from. So again, it's a mood thing. The next prompt is, do you have any rituals when you finish a book? And I'm not exactly sure what is meant by that. So I don't know if this would be considered a ritual or not, but once I'm done with a book, I do sit down and just write up a few paragraphs in my book journal about my overall feelings regarding that particular book. So I don't know if that can be considered a ritual though, but it is something that I do after every book I read. The next prompt is to tag people, and I'm not really going to tag anybody for this one because it is an older tag. And so if you haven't done the tag, I would absolutely love to see you do it.